boys and girls. Welcome to another mathematics lesson. My name is Carol Thompson and I will be taking you through this lesson. Today we will be looking at how to change the subject of a simple formula. Let us start off by looking at what is a formula and what is meant by the concept transposition. A formula is an algebraic relationship between two or more variable quantities. Example, A is equal to L times W, or V is equal to A times H. The process of expressing W in terms of A and L is called transposition, or changing the subject of the formula. Can you recall the formula for finding the area of a rectangle, boys and girls? Excellent! A is equal to L times W is correct. In this formula, which variable stands alone on one side of the equation? You are correct. A is alone on one side of the equation. What about the formula for finding the circumference of a circle? Can you recall that formula? Well done. Circumference of a circle is equal to 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by its radius, which is the same as C is equal to 2 pi r, or the circumference of the circle is equal to pi multiplied by its diameter, which is the same as C is equal to pi d. In this formula, which variable is isolated? Yes, the isolated variable is C. Let us now go to our warm-up activity. Using the picture below, if we say that A plus B is equal to C, what other equation would be true? If A plus B is equal to C, then we can say that A is equal to C subtract B, or B is equal to C subtract A. Is the isolated variable the same in all three equations? No, it is not. For each equation, the variables are the same, but the isolated variable is different. This is what is meant by changing the subject of a formula. So how would you define the subject of a formula? Good job! The subject of a formula is the single variable that is on its own on one side of the equation. In the first equation, A plus B is equal to C, the subject of the formula is C. In the second equation, the subject of the formula is, yes, you are correct. The subject of the formula is B. And in the final equation, the subject of the formula is indeed A. How is knowledge of how to change the subject of the formula useful? Well, it can be very useful when solving real-life problems that involve the use of a formula or an equation. Let us consider this particular scenario. Chad wants to find a formula that can be used to determine the length of each spoke within a Ferris wheel. If Chad knows that the formula for finding the circumference of a circle is C is equal to 2 pi r, how can this information help him to determine the length of each spoke, and that is the radius of a circle, in the Ferris wheel? We will help Chad to solve this problem as the lesson progresses. How can we change the subject of a formula? The objective when changing the subject of a formula is to get the variable you want as the subject by itself on one side of the equation. The subject of the formula should have a coefficient and a power of 1. The process is very similar to that of solving equations. When changing the subject of a formula, it is important to know the inverse or opposite of any given operation. Let us revise them. If the operation is addition, the inverse of addition is subtraction and vice versa. Likewise, the inverse of multiplication is division and vice versa. You can think of the inverse of an operation as undoing the operation. Let us consider an equation to see how this works. Have you ever used the onion skin method to solve an equation, boys and girls? Let us look at how this method works. In the onion skin method, we are going to turn the entire equation into an onion. You can use 2 onions if you prefer that, or you can use just 1. We will look at how to use both. Let's say that the equation you want to solve is y plus 4 is equal to 10. To begin, place the variable at the center of the onion and build skins outwards from the variable. You will need a skin for each term in the equation. Please remember to place the operation that comes before a term along with the term in the onion. Notice that in the first onion, there is an addition sign before the 4. So, in our first onion, we have y followed by plus 4 and finally 10. If you are using the double onion method, you will need a second onion similar to the first one. In the second onion, you will start with the outermost skin and peel each skin inwards using inverse operations until you get to the variable at the center. So, we will peel the skin with 10. Next, we will peel the skin with plus 4. However, in this onion, the operation will now be minus, which is the inverse or the opposite of addition. Notice that the terms in each onion are the same, only the operation before the term changes. Finally, we will subtract 4 from 10 to get the solution for our variable, which in this case is y. So, the solution for the equation is y is equal to 6. Can you use only 1 onion? Yes, you can. Let us look at how that works. Start by placing an onion ring or skin around the variable. Next, place a skin around the first skin. This skin will also contain the operation and the term 4. Finally, place a skin or ring around the entire equation. The skin should contain all 3 terms. Notice that for this problem, we only needed 3 onion skins. The number of skins you will need depends on the problem. Now, to solve the equation, we are going to peel away each skin using the inverse operation. This problem only has 1 operation. Further in the lesson, we will look at problems with more than 1 operation. So, let us start by peeling the skin with 10. Next, we are going to peel the skin with the addition operation and the 4. Remember that we now have to use the inverse operation. What is the inverse of addition? Correct. The inverse of addition is subtraction. So we will take 4 from 10. What answer did you get, boys and girls? Yes, 6. So the solution is y is equal to 6. So that is how we can use the onion skin method to help us solve equations. Now, boys and girls, we are going to apply the onion skin method principle to changing the subject of a formula. I will be using the single onion method. If you want to use both, that is fine. Get your papers and your pencils, boys and girls, and let's go. Our first example is, given A is equal to L times W transpose for L. Which variable do you think should be in the center of your onion? If you are thinking L, you are correct. But why should you place L at the center? Because that is the variable you want to make the subject of your formula. So let us place a skin around L. Where should I place the next onion skin? Around the multiplication sign and W. And where should I place the final onion skin? Around the entire equation. Now let us peel our onion skins to make L the subject of the formula. Remember now that the aim is to have L by itself on one side of the equation. Where should we start peeling from? The outermost skin. What operation do you see in the skin with W? What is the inverse of multiplication? Division. So we will now write A divided by W is equal to L. Notice that I use the division bar instead of the symbol for division. In algebra, you will see the division bar instead of the symbol for division. So we just made L the subject of our formula. Notice also that the subject of the formula can be on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the equation. So A divided by W is equal to L is the same as L is equal to A divided by W. Are you ready for another example, boys and girls? Let's go. Given that C is equal to 2 pi r, transpose for r. Remember, boys and girls, in the formula 2 pi r, you may not see the multiplication symbol, but it is understood that 2 pi r means 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by r. So which variable will you place at the center of your onion? Good job. R is correct because that is the variable you want to make the subject of your formula. What should you do next? Place a ring or skin around R and another around 2 pi. Finally, place a skin around the entire formula. Now let us peel each skin. Where should we start peeling from? Wonderful, the outermost skin. What operation is in the skin with 2 pi? Awesome! Multiplication. What is the inverse of multiplication? Did you say division? Fabulous! So now we have c divided by 2 pi is equal to r. See how easy that was? Or we can also say r is equal to c divided by 2 pi. Now, boys and girls, I want you to try this one on your own. Given y is equal to mx plus c transpose for c. What did you get for your answer? If you got y minus mx is equal to c, or c is equal to y minus mx, you are correct. I know you could do it. For those who did not get this one correct, just keep practicing. You will get it eventually. Let's look at how we got our answer. Place C at the center of your onion. Next, place a skin around mx. Finally, place a skin around the entire equation. Now, let's use the inverse operation to peel each skin. First, peel the skin with y. Next, peel the skin with mx by using the inverse of addition, which is subtraction. Now peel the final skin. So the answer is y subtract mx is equal to c. Or we can say c is equal to y subtract mx. Here is another one for you to try on your own, boys and girls. Transpose the formula a is equal to b multiplied by h, all divided by 2 for h. What did you get as your answer? Let's see if you are correct. So place h at the center of your onion. Place a skin around b multiplied by h. Remember that bh means b multiplied by h. Place the next skin around b multiplied by h, all divided by 2. Finally, place a skin around the entire formula. Now, let's get ready to peel these skins. Yes, peel the skin with A. Next, peel the skin with division by 2 by using the inverse operation. So we now have A multiplied by 2 is equal to B multiplied by H. Next, peel the skin with multiplication by B by using division. Our answer is A multiplied by 2 divided by B is equal to H, or H is equal to 2 multiplied by A divided by B. So there you have it, boys and girls. We just changed the subject of a formula using the onion skin method. Please note that this is not the only way to change the subject of a formula. We can also use the balance method. If you know how to solve an equation using the balance method, you can apply this same principle to changing the subject of a formula. The onion skin method is just a pictorial way to help you with the inverse operations. This concludes our lesson for today. Please write these questions for your homework. You can ask your teacher or someone who is able to help you to check the answers for you. Thanks for watching, boys and girls. See you soon.